Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is Marvel Studios' Black Widow. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch. How you doing?
Good, man. We're back. We're back to the
movies.
movies. I mean, I think I said it with like Mortal Kombat, but like we went on a Thursday night to see it. There were people there. It was fun.
You were not You were like, "There's the notes to show." I'm like, I had faith for Marvel just because like I felt like if anything was gonna bring people back out, it was gonna be something with Marvel at the beginning. I'm not kidding. But yeah, man, it was good to be back. A nice little pop and pop, if you know what I mean. Popcorn, pop soda.
Oh yeah,
can't go wrong.
Large pop.
Did you go large?
Large pop.
Large
sud.
Can't go wrong. I mean, it's only 50 cents more. Go for the large.
I got a small.
Yeah, I think I got a medium.
Large popcorn is actually like if you're alone eating that thing, it's a lot.
No, it is. I barely finished the medium.
200 calories, man.
Yeah, it's not
more.
good. Yeah.
It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, it tastes great, but it's not great for you. But Black Widow, Gooch. We'll go spoiler free at the beginning.
I think it'll be pretty easy to stay spoiler free until I have to talk about Taskmaster.
I feel
like I can like.
We'll just go spoiler free
honestly,
until we go spoiler.
If you've seen Endgame, you kind of know what happens in this movie in a way.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and that's one of my. That's what. Well, Natasha lives. At least that's the thing.
You're start us off, man. What did you think of Black Widow?
I thought I was off the bat. I was like, oh. They're going dark.
Yeah,
like they're like
opening
committing,
credit scene.
They're committing to like
fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're like Black Widow is like she's a Russian super spy who did a lot of really shitty shit. Like she was not a good person, and the idea is, and they layer that on in this movie, that idea that she was bad before. Yeah, like she wasn't a good person. She's trying to make up for that life, and I think there's even a pretty meaty decision made in this that kind of illustrates that. But then I feel like I'll get into reasons for which I don't necessarily like it by the end of the movie, and I think you might actually jive with me on that one. I don't know. I'm in between because, like I said to you earlier, I was like, I'm having trouble remembering this movie, and you were like, is it because you were stoned or something? I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just because like it didn't. There were a few spots where I was like, that's not like, I don't really. We just had to get from one place to another, and I was like, but there were a few very notable action scenes, which I was like, oh, this is cool, and I thought there was. I don't necessarily love the entire treatment of Taskmaster. I actually would say I don't like it. But the fight scenes are...
Definitely my biggest gripe is Taskmaster.
I would say the fight scenes with them, with him are like pretty well done, though. Those are pretty fun and cool, but the idea of what they end up doing with that person's story is just kind of next to...
Yeah, and I'll get into Taskmaster in a sec.
Of course, yeah.
That is my biggest gripe about this movie is the way they kind of destroyed Taskmaster being a thing in the MCU. They didn't do that well. But
yeah, I mean, I think they could. I don't want to get into it. We'll talk that when we get to it. But aside from that, I think this is a movie that should have came out 5 years ago. Like I said before, you
said it right at the end of the movie, and I'm like, I could not have agreed more. This movie does feel like it really slotted into that Ant-Man and the Wasp. After Infinity War, in between Infinity War and Endgame, like Black Widow should have been right alongside.
Not even. I actually even say before Endgame. I think
Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm sorry. After Civil War, as I really feel like where they should like somewhere in that space should have came out because it just would have made sense. And apparently this was Ike Perlmutter's doing that. He was the guy who like. Apparently,
really? All the way back then?
I think so. I'm pretty
way.
Dude, I'm pretty like he was one of these like he was he's a big exec, right? I'm not fucking up that name.
Yeah.
I might be fucking up which one it is. I'm pretty confident it was like Perlmutter who said this. He was like, I don't think Black Widow could sell her own movie, basically. And I was like, I don't think that would have been true at the time.
I agreed with you at certain points.
But like I think after Civil War,
not after Avengers.
No, not after Civil War especially, but even like I think I don't know. I think just because of context, I think The Winter Soldier is almost a better Black Widow movie than this in some regards. Like
like
you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm at an impasse. I wasn't bored. I will say that. Like I wasn't like sitting there like this is stupid. This is what's even happening. I don't care. But I don't know, Gooch. What about you?
I was pleasantly surprised, and this was somebody who was like, "How can this movie be good? We know what happens. We know what can and can't happen." Like there's only so much they can do with this movie. Why did they wait so long to make this movie? Yada yada yada. It should be a story of her coming out of the Red Room and like us seeing her like defect into S.H.I.E.L.D., like I kind of wanted that origin story in a way, and like what we were getting I was not down with, but I'm really surprised about how much I liked this movie, having such a, I won't say low bar, but like not an impressed dislike bar going into this.
No, and I definitely like
my expectations were not, this is going to be fucking awesome. They're like, all right, we'll see what this is going to be.
What echelon would you put this in for more, like in the way of like I feel like there's tiers. Like I
mean, I definitely like this movie. It's the Winter Soldier tone and vibe. The
even darker at some points.
The open credit scene is absolutely fantastic.
It is.
I love the storytelling in that, and like the tone and like the Nirvana cover. I'm just like, this is fucking sick. Like I'm really about this.
Absolutely.
And like I like when I like those darker tones. I like when Marvel can get dark and not be so jokey all the time. Kind of like with Spider-Man. I feel like Spider-Man is too jokey, not enough actual like drama and seriousness.
Sure.
What did you just ask me?
Just what I lost it too.
You asked me something, and I kind of go off of it, but I really liked it. I think it's definitely in my top 10 somewhere, Marvel films.
Okay.
Not that I have a solid top 10, but I think it's up there.
I wonder if I have my notes.
Because I feel like a lot of other movies, like Doctor Strange or something, or Ant-Man and the Wasp, when I come out, I'm like, yeah, that was good. But like, that's all my opinion is. It's not really like I fucking hated it or I fucking loved it. Like, there's a lot of Marvel movies that kind of fall in this mid to high to low category.
No,
like
I
this
definitely
real middle ground. And then you have movies like Iron Man 1, which is obviously on a high one, Avengers 1, Endgame, Infinity War, they're up there. And then you have the low ones like, for me, Far From Home, Dark World, Captain Marvel are like all the way at the bottom. And then there's this like middle section where all these other movies just kind of exist. And like, I don't really have too much, like Doctor Strange, like I look at that movie and I'm like, I don't know what more I could say about like disliking it or liking it. I could say, like, it's kind of hard to like really pin shit down.
It was a movie.
Right. It was, in fact, a movie.
Like
for sure.
You weren't. So okay, that's interesting. You wouldn't. It's not something you'd write home about, would you say? But it's like you would, like if someone was like, "Gooch, should I see Black Widow?"
Yeah, for sure.
I would say so too. But I guess it's just like, I think that coming out, I think the pandemic might have helped it a little bit in the way of like, I don't think people are as hyped. Like,
you're on to something.
I think being able to build up this hype over 2 years for a Marvel movie to come back helped it absolutely.
I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's Black Widow.
You're right. That's actually
it's a very
true.
like, we're going back with like one of the most doesn't matter Marvel movies you can get. Black Widow plot like really is somewhat irrelevant,
and
like,
it sucks because
it
like
it isn't like they don't really do much for the grand scheme of things at all. It doesn't add a super ton more context to Natasha's death in Endgame. In fact, I forgot she died until the end. Like I was like, oh yeah, Black Widow's dead.
You're like, that's right. But again, that's why, like, there are a lot of tense moments in this movie where I'm like, man, this would be a lot more tense if I didn't know she would make it out alive.
Right.
Like the one scene when it's in the snow and such, we don't have to get into the exact details of it for spoiler stuff, is cool. It's a little bit like, I think it gets a little bit kind of, like a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not comic, but like, it's a little bit crazy by the one point. But again, there feels like stakes and they're like kind of building up some tension. But I'm like, well, she's fine. And she's with these characters, so that means they're probably going to be fine too. And I don't know, maybe some people don't think like this when they're watching a movie. Like I think I mentioned this. I think I said this to like Penza, and he's like, I guess that didn't even enter my mind. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's fair. Like I am of the mind that I'd like to see these movies become less connected and to just kind of see cool stories from these characters. We've gotten this really interweaved MCU universe throughout these last 10 years. I'm fine with some more offshoots that don't need to necessarily make a major difference, but I think it runs into that pitfall of Star Wars where it's like, you know where the end game is for Natasha.
It doesn't need to be the hashtag it's all connected moment.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like, but I think again, knowing that she lives is unfortunately a big like crutch for this movie.
Right. We know, like I said in the beginning, we know certain things can and cannot happen.
Yes. Yeah. And that makes it tough. But
I think the supporting cast, I mean, like ScarJo's awesome. Like, I don't know. There's not really much more to say. Like, ScarJo's never been bad as Black Widow.
No, I think she's.
I don't think there's any instance where I go, yeah, I didn't like that. I think she's always been good in the role.
I agree.
Florence Pugh. This is the first time I've ever seen her in a movie. She's great as Yelena. I used to say Yelena Belova, but they say Yelena, and I don't want to say Yelena, even though it's like Helena.
Yelling at you.
Helena. It's like the same thing.
I didn't like her character at all.
Really?
She was so
Was she too jokey for you?
She was.
Yeah.
And like for
all
someone,
right, Trio.
no, this is
my critique.
Well, but like I'm not saying.
I love the.
I'm not saying that
her making fun of her landing. I thought that was pretty funny. Just
I thought, but again,
if it was any other sorry, I'm interrupting you. If it was any other character, the fact that they're on the same level makes it funny because they're both Black Widows. But
no, I know. But again, that's one joke that I think is kind of funny, like one that works. But then I feel like she keeps peppering it on, like, and it's her whole entire character. It doesn't make any sense with where she's coming from. What am I saying?
The vest.
Oh yeah, then the vest. The fucking vest. Spoiler alert: we see where fucking ScarJo gets her vest from. That line
is kind of stupid.
It seems very forced.
Yeah, it's really forced.
But like again, like this is a girl who's been mind controlled for the past 4 years to do whatever this crazy psychopath wants her to do. And she comes out of it, Draco, whatever, the leader of the Red Room.
Draco Malfoy, okay.
And like she's just seems very, and I don't know, maybe I'm reading into things again too much. She seems very peppy for being mind controlled for 5 years and doing things that you would like never dream of, and being like the things that you see how crazy he is in the end, and like how abusive and like truly psychopathic he is. I feel like her character doesn't line up with what she's been through at all. And then like now we just have a new Black Widow. I'm like, cool.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, let's not get there just yet. The rest of the supporting cast, David Harbour's Red Guardian,
so good.
Great. Like it's kind of like the character you thought exactly what it was gonna be, and then the love of my life, Rachel Weisz coming back as the character Yelena. She was awesome, man. I think I just have an affinity for Rachel Weisz just from liking The Mummy.
Sure.
So I was just hyped to see her.
Sure.
So like there was no letdown for me there, but I thought she did good.
No, I thought they were fine. Like I think I didn't love the angle that they approached the family with, in the way of like it didn't really. I don't know. I don't really even know how to put it into words. I wasn't like super invested in it.
I mean, were you supposed to be? I think I thought so. You're not invested to it until they all sit down back at the table. That's when you get like when they kind of pull you in and they you know.
No, it is interesting to a degree for sure.
Yelena kind of talks how like this was real for me. Like I know it wasn't real for you, but like that was my life.
Yeah,
and, like,
you're right.
You know, none of them have that connection, but like you know, all three of them kind of still hold on to it as if it was real, but like they still like deny it.
Yeah.
And then you know they have they go off with the mom and the sister, or the mom and the daughter and the dad kind of situations where, and then they sing American Pie, and then they kind of like really in with these moments. It's not that they think it's worth investing, but there's moments that set up being invested, or like I don't know.
To me, I guess sort of for me.
It.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There were some definitely feel good moments and like some moments I enjoyed, but then I felt like I felt like some interactions felt natural. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I just wasn't like super like. I like the Red Guardian a lot, and then that was like my big one. I thought he was funny. I thought he was interesting. His powers. So he's a super. Okay,
he's a super soldier.
Let's do.
There's no explanation.
No, zero. So full spoilers now. I just want to say that because I want to start talking. We can get into Taskmaster in a little bit and stuff like that. But yeah, so spoiler. Thank you. Watch the movie. I don't understand his power set. It's very vague in the comics. He does not a super soldier. I looked it up because I was curious. They're just very high peak, like physically Russian dudes that like, and there's multiple Red Guardians apparently.
I would say he's definitely has some super soldier.
And then I saw someone. There's always an offshoot. No, he absolutely did because he flips a fucking like tractor at some point or something. Yeah. But like,
and he holds onto his side of the plane.
I saw someone post a question on like one of the message, like the Facebook or something. That was like, can someone, if Red Guardian's like a super soldier, can someone explain to me how he gained weight? Like he'd have to be like trying. Like it's just again just more of a joke. It was just funny to me to point out like, he would have to be sitting there trying.
does, like, we don't really know. We know how, like, Superman mechanics work. I don't think we really understand how the super soldier serum works with Captain America.
No,
like,
that's true.
Can he get fat?
You'd
or, like,
assume
is he
not.
always just strong?
He can definitely train because he punches some bags. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, that's just I thought a funny thing that someone pointed out to me. But I don't know. I really didn't like the mind control subplot because I think that type of thing has to be used very sparingly in my opinion, because I feel like it's a cheap way to absolve your characters of all their decisions. And I don't really like it. And then also there's this kind of
characters that don't matter,
and like exactly, yeah. And then like
the Black Widows,
exactly. And then there's just this magic red mist that cures everyone. It's again a bit of a MacGuffin.
That really doesn't get much of an explanation.
No, not at all. And like so, yeah. The idea is like what is his name again? Dragoff.
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 I think.
He's like created this like
D.
The D. The D. He's got the D. The D has developed a mind control technique of some.
The Red D.
The Red D that the Red D has developed a mind control tech. Is it a tech? I can't remember. Is it a technology or is it like I
think it's a mind control through their training.
But like it seems to be absolved through this like I thought it was a chemical of some kind.
That's a pheromone.
Well, that's how it stops them. He stops them from killing them, which is another weird. I don't understand that. But again, it's a fine.
I mean,
movie.
it's people emit pheromones.
No, I know. Yeah, I think there's easier ways to do that. That it's just like it's a smell that stops you from killing someone.
Smashes her nose. In
yeah, which was that. I was like, oh, did you hear me in the movie? I was like, oh, yeah, it really got me.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was
the whole scene.
But again, there was just like these certain choices where I'm like, well, I wouldn't personally have made that choice, and I again, majorly with. Do you want to get into it?
Taskmaster?
Yeah.
Let me start.
Okay. Please start.
Yeah, this is my moment. Yeah. Taskmaster. Boy, did they fuck this one up. So, the fact that Taskmaster is not in fact Tony Masters, which seemed pretty obvious that it was not our run-of-the-mill ex-SHIELD agent Tony Masters, who has photographic memory and mimics Avengers powers.
Well, anyone. Yeah, anyone.
Or anyone. Yeah. It is...
Well, it's not power. It's like, it's usually... I thought it was like fight. I thought it was only fighting styles and stuff.
I think it goes into powers. He can do Spidey's web.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it is in fact the Red D's, the Red D's daughter, who, going back to your part, Natasha kills, and that's how she defects from the Soviet Union.
So yeah, there's like a flashback to the what's it called job,
or not the Soviet Union, but Russia.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That's a flashback to the like job that her and Hawkeye talk about in like Avengers apparently.
Budapest.
Yeah, Budapest.
Yeah, finally.
And yeah, she makes this decision. Like she thinks she has Dreykov in the Red D in his office, and his daughter is there, and she's like, "I'm sorry, like I gotta make this decision. I'm gonna kill the daughter to make sure I get him."
And she does.
And she does it, and it's a very weighty. Like it means something. I feel like,
and it shows you. It's like an original sin moment.
It's a linchpin moment for her, really. Yeah. Like and. Then I feel like by making her survive that, and then the Red D be the really big bad guy, that's kind of abuse.
I almost think the Red D doesn't matter. Like he almost doesn't matter as a villain. He's just kind of there.
No, you're right. But no, I'd say Taskmaster doesn't matter.
But Taskmaster doesn't matter because no villain in the MCU usually matters. Look at every MCU movie. Their villains are lackluster, and this movie is no different.
I'd say there's a few that I think, but like
Loki,
matter. But hold on. No. Now this gets back to the thing that we were talking about interweaving. Do they matter in their? Are you saying do they matter in the grand scheme, or they don't matter? They don't matter in the grand scheme, or they don't matter in their story?
Both.
Because I think I would disagree with that. I think a lot of them do matter in their individual story, but they don't contribute to the larger MCU. Like I still think one of my favorite.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think one of my favorite villains easily is Vulture in Homecoming.
Tony!
Not fucking. But like
you built that armor in the cave with a box of scraps.
A lot of that improv, by the way. It's a pretty interesting fact.
Stark building a cave.
Hey, with some scraps. But oh damn it, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Vulture.
Vulture, like he is one that he doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but in that story, he services that story so well, and I think he is one of the most complete, singular, like villains we get in an MCU movie. I do agree. Some of them are very like us. Like I'm trying to think of like a Guardians, like what's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy. Elves. Well, Thor. Thor isn't easy. But again,
Ronan.
ego matters in his story to me. Like he works
fine. I'm gonna. Yeah, like
but like whereas the Dark Elves are just like they're like the thing.
I guess like you could say the Dark Elves are definitely one. Whiplash.
But I feel like they've actually been referenced a lot more recently.
The Mandarin and Aldrich Killian, like they're really like throwaway and they don't really matter and they don't really service all that much. But then you get like obviously Loki and Thanos, they don't even fucking count. But like to really like think of an MCU movie like where the villain like really is good. Like there really isn't.
There's only a few. No, I agree. There's a handful where you really are like
and like this movie exemplifies just like bad villains. Well, but I don't even care that the Red D is a bad villain. What I care about is them wasting the opportunity to make Taskmaster a really cool cross-movie villain.
Yeah.
Because Taskmaster has this unique thing in the comics where he is in all these story threads, Avenger story thread, Iron Man,
he
Spidey,
comes up in a ton
Deadpool.
of different comics.
He's just he's in a ton of stuff.
I don't know who he started as.
And he has like a decent, he's kind of cool.
He's pretty on par with those guys.
He's like a C-lister, but like he's approaching B, you know?
Well, he's a C-lister that can take on some A-listers.
Right.
And
they could have like done a cool through line. And like, even though it's the Red D's daughter, like they could have still like, here's how they would have fixed this. And like she's being mind controlled too, so she gets the dust and she snaps out of it. She still can't talk, which was
Well, she can. She said something.
Does she?
She says like, "Is he gone?" or something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. But like, okay, so like at the end when the helicarrier crashes and Ross is just coming in out of nowhere for some reason, apparently his jurisdictions and other
wherever
nations,
it is,
and he's just ready to go.
Russia.
It's like, you know what they could have done to like make Tony Masters a thing? Like they're arresting people, or like maybe they don't arrest everyone. Some Black Widows came out, some get arrested for some reason, and Scarlett Johansson doesn't, by the way. If you didn't
she
realize
like gets
that.
away somehow.
She gets away.
I don't know.
She gets away somehow.
Well, it seems
and she
like
dyes
maybe
her hair
he's like
and she gets in Infinity War mode.
Yeah,
she's ready to go. But Ross goes, round them up, Masters. And like points to Taskmaster. That's all they had to do. That's it.
No, that's true.
That would have been the through line.
No,
that's
it's true. Like,
and it would have been like, fuck yeah, we're getting Taskmaster back, and it's going to be Tony Masters.
But again, this would have worked. Like Antonia Masters would work. I don't.
I don't care.
Like, no,
it's
funny.
No,
it's funny because I see. No, and I didn't mean to imply that you did.
No,
I keep seeing that online.
Like, to be clear.
Like people, I do see, like that's not the issue for me. Like it's not like stuff like that. But like,
I was waiting for Rachel Weisz to be Taskmaster.
See, and that would be interesting. But like, there was another thing of like, I can't. And I saw this in a video. It was pointed out to me. I think it's a very fair point of like, there is no story reason for her armor to look like that.
Right.
There is no like this is an elite.
This
is an elite like female complete like
a Black Widow
thing, which and everyone's just running around without any like type of obfuscation going on. They're just in their suits and just in the middle of broad daylight in the middle of it. That's another thing I didn't quite buy. Quick sidebar that Natasha would not know that the Red Room was operating just based on her character. I don't know. I feel like she's very thorough in that regard. Like just maybe. With the that's my own opinion.
It's just massive disbelief.
No, sure, and that's fair.
I know I will give pick up on these things better than I do, but I feel like at some point
that's one I will give you. We gotta let this. It's a prequel,
me, but like just not get upset about it.
No, and again, it's not upset. It's more just like. Like guys, come on! I wish because I feel like some filmmakers are better than that. To like, you just got to think a tiny bit more. Because I'm so smart. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily bought that. But again, like I don't know why they had to obfuscate it, other than like, oh well, that's what he kind of looks like in the comics. And it's a clear.
It's a cool suit.
It's a cool suit, but then it's like when that moment when she takes her helmet off. The way she looks in this like baggy suit, it doesn't even sort of look like it's the same person. And at least I felt like I really noticed that. Like she looked very like small in the suit.
Lanky.
It didn't look like the same person in the suit. Or maybe they like superimposed a head over.
It's probably not.
But like it just
now you point it out.
It felt like I just don't know why that was the choice. It was like let's use Taskmaster but not really use Taskmaster. For some weird reason.
Right. And that's what pisses me so off about this so much, because I was just like, dude, Thunderbolts is coming up. You know, at the end credit scene is, you know, Yelena visiting Natasha's grave, and what the fuck's her name?
The fucking octopus lady, Madam Hydra. I can't remember her full name. That's what she becomes.
Yeah, but like she's definitely not Madame Hydra.
Yeah, definitely.
D Fontaine, Allegra.
Allegra? Is it Allegra?
I don't know. Like
whatever. The girl who shows up at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Fucking, Diane.
Yeah, Diane from
Elaine.
Oh, god dang.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus shows up, and this was supposed to be before Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
this was supposed
which
to
is
be
even
first
funny because they give no context to this character at all in this. It almost seems like it was in the order it was supposed to be in.
Well, do you think they could have maybe altered that scene a bit to make it make more sense?
They didn't.
They really didn't know it's the exact same scene?
There's an article saying they didn't do anything to this movie. I'm like, interesting.
That must,
They kept it as is. I'm like, okay. I'm like, even the end credit scene apparently. So
wow. I would not have guessed that.
So U.S. Agent and now Black Widow are part of we'll call it the Thunderbolts for now.
That's as far
as
the Dark
Avengers would come after the Thunderbolts, but like there's no way Ross is not behind this. They're teeing up Thunderbolts. It's 100% going to happen.
Think we'll see Red Hulk?
I hope so,
I hope
man.
so too.
I really do. I really do. Ross has been in enough movies for Red Hulk to be like very justified.
That guy's getting pretty old too. Who plays him? I feel like.
Yeah.
So they got to do that.
He looks better in. He lost a lot of weight. He
Yeah.
looks better in the later movies.
He
But
does.
like, I like how old he is.
No, I do too. No,
Yeah.
it works.
I like his age. You know.
I do. You know what? Age. Good. We need more
And like, you
representation
know
of
who'd have
that
been
age group.
sick on the Thunderbolts? Taskmaster. As like the dude rounding the
I
team
agree, Gooch.
together, who was Ross's right hand.
I completely
man.
agree. It sucks.
Missed opportunity.
It is.
Like it's such a shame. Again,
Like, I don't
Marvel
think it's-
villains need to be better.
Yeah.
Loki isn't good from just one movie. Loki has like 4 movies to get good.
No, absolutely.
Same with Thanos. He's not good just from Infinity War. They build him up.
Oh, I think he's great from just Infinity War, personally. But like,
I
I think that's
but like you can't judge him from just Infinity War because he wasn't like perceived like that.
I'm confused.
You
What
have
do mean?
more than one movie. You know who Thanos is before we get to Infinity War.
Sort of. I mean, you know of him, but you don't know his backstory whatsoever.
No, but like you know he's a threat. They
Yeah.
tee up his villainous means pretty well.
Yeah, I know, but like that's not. But it's not like. It's
know?
not giving you like. It's not like you just like know this big bad's coming. Like that doesn't like.
Right, but like the big bad is already established, and then
So, yeah, that does give you a head start.
A little bit of Endgame and
Yeah, that's
Infinity War to kind of give you the reason why he's
Sure,
the big bad.
sure.
You don't need to see him be the big bad. We've already heard /
Yeah.
seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like what.
It's sad.
Like what's next?
On the dot.
Is it Shang-Chi or Eternals?
I think it's Shang-Chi. By
like
the way.
I don't think the man. Like I can't see them.
Shang-Chi.
What?
It's Shang-Chi apparently.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not kidding.
It's not Shang.
I don't think so. No.
No way.
I'm very. I was listening to podcasts today.
Oh man.
I'm pretty confident. Please don't roast me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident that's the exact.
I'm
that's
gonna say
I think.
Shang-Chi for.
I know it's tough. You, of course.
Until
will.
I hear it come out of the characters' mouths, we'll think about
All right.
switching. But like, I don't see the Mandarin being anything to write home about. Like, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, but again,
I don't see like
but
whatever.
Again, I just want
the
him
Black
to.
Knight, whoever's the Eternals villain, being anything to write home about. Like,
But again, I want them. I guess I want them to matter in their story. That's at the end of the day. That's my big. I don't care if they matter in the grand scheme of the MCU at the like. I want that movie to be good, and I want that villain to be interesting within the context of that story.
It's funny how much I like this movie, but then again, it's like, well, it does nothing for Black Widow as a character.
Nothing.
Like, which is an
And that's the
inherently
sad
a
thing.
negative critique,
And
but
that's
like,
because-
it doesn't make me dislike the movie.
No, and that's unfortunately the cost of it being a prequel. Truly.
Yeah,
I think it is.
It should have, like you said in the beginning, it should have been slotted after Civil War.
Somewhere just in that little.
Yeah,
I don't know. It sucks, but ScarJo, thank you so much for giving us these years. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I wish
Big
they
stop.
like would have serviced. Like, it's funny how robbed Natasha is of like that moment in Endgame. Like, she dies, she gets like a quick moment, but like the real death is Tony Stark. They don't even give Natasha a funeral. Like, I would have liked to see a funeral scene
With her as well.
With some of the other characters. Like, that would have been cool to see a lot of people come back just for the funeral scene, and then after that
You see
it's
them
like,
and you're like, oh,
it's
that's
like
where this person
6
is.
months later.
Yeah, it would have been cool if Red Guardian and them were
Yelena is coming back, and
You're right, at the funeral, yeah.
Right. I think that would have been a lot more impactful because her death would have meant something rather than just like one person at the grave and there's a bunch of flowers and like that means something, sure, but
No, I
like
agree.
it could have meant more, and the scene would have been easy to do. Just getting all the people.
I agree.
That's
I agree
probably
with
the
you.
issue.
My last.
Actually, from fucking COVID, you could. They had all the time in the
No,
world.
you're right. My last question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think Red Guardian actually fought Captain America?
No. He lies.
But I think he actually I think he fought a Captain America. I don't think it's.
You think he fought like
because
Isaiah Bradley?
I think there's, or even, but who, like, I feel like at this point they could, like, I feel like at this point they could slot in so many different.
Isaiah
like,
Bradley, we don't know.
He was in the 50s. He was during the Korean War.
He was Captain America.
Well, the idea is like he was, but not in name. Like he,
Or
like, you know what I mean?
that he donned the shield or the stars and stripes.
That was still
like,
one thing I'm sad that we didn't
that.
get in a flashback in Falcon and the Winter Soldier to that.
Oh,
but
like him wearing
like a
the suit?
heyday, or even just a heyday of him, like doing.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a funny though, because just the way he says it to like like he seemed, he's like he didn't. Like he like seems
right.
like
I
like,
heard that line. I'm like, what?
Like just
like,
the
what do
way
you
like
mean?
he,
I'm
like because he seems
he got thought out in like 2012.
But I do. Even the one guy says to him, he's like, he didn't. He's like, when did it happen? He's like 1995. He's like, Captain America wasn't thought out till 2011. And then he and then he breaks his arm.
Idiot.
Yeah. And then he breaks his arm.
Vlad, can you believe Red Guardian here? What the fucking moron?
No, it really. I don't know. Again, I think he was the star.
Boris, come here.
He was the star of this movie for me for some reason.
David
when he
Harbour.
gets the suit on, it still fits.
Dude, this is just Hopper. This is what happens on Hopper.
It's a Russian. he's been in jail for too long. Oh my God, Gooch. Anything else on Black Widow for you?
No, I'm trying to think.
I don't think we really missed.
The Big Red D doesn't really get talked about more.
No,
Rachel Weisz
he
is
gets.
awesome.
He is. I love how. No, he's dead.
See those glasses?
He gets incinerated.
Gone.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, did you like? Real quick,
Yeah.
Taskmaster fighting was awesome.
It was.
It was awesome.
It was dope.
Like
I will
when
give
they
them that.
fight on the bridge, like that's sick. Like some of the fight scenes in this movie are really good.
They
But
are.
There isn't a ton of action. I feel
There's
a
like the
lot of
big end
set
scene,
pieces,
yeah.
but there's not a lot,
Lot of,
of
like, hand-to-hand.
one-on-one.
The
like
one
Black
scene
Widow.
I hated at the end was when she's getting bombarded by all the Black Widows.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
hate a scene, and I told you this before, I hate a scene like this when 20 people walk in to fight one person, and they all just fight one at a time, and they keep going one, and then they slowly overpower them. I'm like, I know it's
we got robbed of like a full fight scene with the Red Guardian.
Yeah, no, we don't get my.
We get,
he
like-
does hold his own against Taskmaster a bit.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Him and Taskmaster fight, and it's like all of 7 seconds and two
lots
cuts.
of cuts. Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, why don't we get that fight?
I love how he walked away with the shield. He took Taskmaster's shield.
Yeah.
Do you think he had a shield at one point? I like how he's just a guy
Maybe.
who's just like, I just want to serve Russia and I like to beat up people.
We didn't really
Like,
talk about the intro all that much, like the
Oh
undercover
yeah, like so
kind
they
of-
were.
I mean,
yeah.
we did, but like we didn't really like talk. Did you
And,
like that
spoilers,
scene?
I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit! I'm like, they're totally
They're
sleepers.
sleeper agents,
I was
so,
like,
yeah.
that's exactly what this is. I was like, that's cool.
That was a really cool setup. I
Yeah,
definitely think a
95 in
wise
Ohio.
use of
I
like
could have
flashback.
been born. At this
Yeah, you
point.
could have. And
Yeah.
it was interesting seeing like Natasha realize what's happening. And she's like, because she's aware, whereas like we said, Yelena was not at all because she was so young.
Right.
She
didn't go through
It was
the-
like it was pretty
the Red
heartbreaking.
Room.
It's sad, yeah.
Yeah.
And then even that scene when they get back on the tarmac and they're taking her and like he's like,
And it pulls the gun.
yeah.
And I love how he's like, oh,
Like, my
the
girls.
Big Red D. Let's go be Red Guardian.
He's like, I
again."
don't
And
want to
and
do
he
this,
switches
yeah.
from like the American accent
It's
to
a-
the Russian.
So good.
I wonder if that's hard. That was hard to do for him.
Maybe. I don't know. It's Russian. For some reason, the Russian accent is very easy for me anyways.
But I feel like I couldn't switch and just do it.
Do
on
it, come
command.
back
I
to
mean,
the
I just
American
kind of
like
did,
that,
but
yeah.
you know.
All right.
I don't know.
Russian accents aside.
The Big Red D.
Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to our Black Widow review here. It's been a lot of fun. It's good to get back into the movies regardless. I'd say go check it out. I think Gooch feels the same. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We are on all the social medias at Delco Nerds on those. We have a website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com, as well as a Discord and an email address, DelcoNerds@gmail.com. Write us in with comments, questions, or concern. We'll try to get back to you in a timely fashion. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.